They say revenge is a dish best served cold. But I learned something different that summer evening when my son-in-law's fist connected with my face. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's just stepping aside and letting a man destroy himself. My name is Freeman Murphy. I'm 64 years old, retired after 30 years teaching American history. And this is the story of how I lost my daughter, gained a house, and learned that sometimes protecting yourself means watching everything burn. The notary's stamp hit the paper with a sound that felt like victory. After 3 decades of early mornings and microwaved dinners eaten alone, I'd finally done it. The keys to 847 Southwest Hazelwood Drive sat cold in my palm. My house. 2 bedrooms, a garage, maple trees in the yard. $385,000 of my own sweat and sacrifice. I should have called Mabel immediately. My daughter. My only child. The girl I'd raised alone after her mother left when she was 7. The young woman whose college tuition I'd paid in full. The bride whose wedding I'd funded when her new in-laws couldn't contribute. But I didn't call right away. Something in my gut whispered caution. When I finally dialed that evening, her response told me everything. "That's good, Dad." Her voice went flat. "But isn't a whole house a lot for just you?" In the background, I heard him. "Rodney. My son-in-law of 6 years." His voice cut through sharp and clear. "Waste of money at his age. Could have helped us instead." I'd heard that tone before. The tone of a man who believed the world owed him something. "I'd love for you both to come see it," I said, keeping my voice steady. "Dinner next Saturday?" "Sure. I guess we can do that. No congratulations. No pride. Just calculation." That night, I couldn't sleep. I sat at my kitchen table with a legal pad and started writing. Not a to-do list. An accounting. College tuition, 4 years at Portland State, $48,000. Wedding venue and catering, $15,000. Down payment for their apartment, Rodney called it a loan, I never saw a dime back, $20,000. Car insurance I was still paying, $5,400 more. The laptop. The emergency fund when Rodney's business collapsed. The certification program he swore would double his income. I stared at the total, $97,100. 6 years of giving. 6 years of Rodney's promises and Mabel's gradual transformation from grateful daughter to entitled stranger. I looked at the framed photo on my desk. Mabel at 22, graduation day, tears streaming down her face. "I couldn't have done this without you, Dad." What happened to that girl? I knew what happened. Rodney happened. He'd seemed fine at first. Confident. Ambitious. He worked in real estate development. When Mabel brought him to Sunday brunch 6 years ago, I'd wanted to like him. "Mr. Murphy, the sacrifices you made for Mabel's education, that's incredible," he'd said. I should have corrected him then. Not sacrifices. Investments. But Mabel glowed beside him. So I'd smiled and said, "Call me Freeman. Just take care of her." "I promise, sir." Family first. Always. The first 2 years were fine. Then came year 3. The shift. Freeman, I have an opportunity. Real estate certification. 10,000 gets me qualified. I'll double it in 6 months, then repay you with interest. I wrote the check. 6 months became a year. A year became silence. When I finally asked about repayment, Rodney's expression went cold. Loan? I thought that was you supporting family. I backed down that day. Convinced myself he was right. I was being petty. But the requests continued. Car payments. Vacation funding. Each time, gratitude became briefer. Expectation grew stronger. And now, after 3 decades of teaching, after finally buying myself a home, Rodney thought it was wasteful. 3 days after closing, I needed supplies. Dishes, towels, kitchen items. I drove to the Fred Meyer, the same store I'd shopped at for years. I was comparing dish sets when I heard my name. Freeman. Freeman Murphy. I turned. An older man approached, wearing a golf shirt with a Palm Springs logo. He stuck out his hand. It's Frank. Rodney's father. We met at the wedding. Finally running into you properly. Memory clicked. The wedding reception. We'd shaken hands, exchanged maybe 10 words total. Frank, of course. It's been years. Too long. But we'll be seeing plenty of each other soon. His smile was wide, grateful. Something cold settled in my stomach. Will we? Rodney told us the wonderful news. You're letting Linda and me move into your new place. Frank's eyes glistened. We can't thank you enough. Our pension barely covers California rent anymore. This is a genuine lifesaver. The housewares section tilted. He told you that? He said you offered the spare bedroom. Said the house is big and you're alone anyway. Frank kept talking. Linda's already started packing. We're thinking early next month. My throat felt tight. I see. We'll be model housemates, I promise. We'll even help with bills, whatever's fair. I forced my face into something resembling a smile. We should talk about details. Of course. Rodney said you're having them over for dinner next week. We can discuss everything then. Right. The dinner. Linda wanted me to tell you how much this means. You're a good man, Freeman. Better than most fathers-in-law. The irony burned in my chest. Well, I won't keep you. See you next month, roommate. He laughed, clapping me on the shoulder before walking away. I stood motionless. The store continued around me while mine cracked open. I moved toward checkout on autopilot. Only when I was alone in my car did I let the fury surface. My hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. Rodney had promised my house. My house. The one I'd saved 30 years to buy. To his parents. Without asking. Without even mentioning it. Just like when he'd borrowed my car for a week without permission. Just like when he'd listed me as a professional reference without asking. Just like the down payment he'd called a loan but treated as a gift. The pattern was clear now. Sharp as broken glass. Rodney saw me as a resource to be exploited. And Mabel had let him. I pulled out my phone and searched, Property Rights Lawyers, Portland, Oregon. The first consultation was free. That night, I barely slept. By dawn, I'd made my decision. Patricia Caldwell's name appeared repeatedly in reviews. Elder law. Estate disputes. Her office was downtown. First consultation complimentary. I sent the email carefully. Need consultation regarding property boundaries and family pressure. Available this week. Her response came before lunch. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. Bring any relevant documentation. I pulled out a legal pad and began documenting everything. Dates. Amounts. Conversations. Evidence. The teacher becomes strategist. Patricia's office occupied the third floor near Pioneer Square. I arrived 5 minutes early, wearing slacks and a collared shirt. She was early 50s, dark hair pulled back, wire-rimmed glasses. Her handshake was firm. Mr. Murphy. Coffee? No, thank you. Business first. Her office walls displayed credentials. Oregon State Bar. Family mediation certification. She gestured to a leather chair. Start from the beginning. I laid it out systematically. The house purchase. Frank's gratitude in the grocery store. 6 years of Rodney's presumptions. She wrote quickly, occasionally asking clarifying questions. Did you confront him about the car? I raised it with my daughter. She said I was being difficult. That family shares. And the house promise. When did you learn about it? 3 days ago. His father thanked me. I had no idea what he meant. Patricia's pen paused. So your son-in-law promised your property to his parents without your knowledge or consent? Correct. She wrote something, underlined it twice. What outcome are you seeking? I leaned forward slightly. I'm having them to dinner tomorrow evening. I intend to make clear his parents cannot move in. But I need to know my rights. I kept my voice level. Hypothetically, if someone tried to force me physically, what would be the legal ramifications? Her expression sharpened. She understood this wasn't purely academic. In Oregon, any unwanted physical contact constitutes assault. A punch, a shove, even aggressive grabbing. She met my eyes. Are you expecting a confrontation? I think he's used to getting his way. I'd like to be prepared. What if the victim is over 60? Patricia set down her pen. Aggravating factor. If police are called, arrest is mandatory. Conviction is likely if there's evidence. Define evidence. Witnesses. Recordings. Physical injury. Medical documentation. She studied me carefully. Mr. Murphy, if you believe there's genuine risk, consider having someone present. It's my house. My space. I kept my tone firm. I won't be driven from it by threats. Then keep your phone accessible. If anything happens, call 911 immediately. Document everything. She paused. Oregon is a one-party consent state for recordings. You can legally record conversations you're part of without others' knowledge. I wrote that down. She watched me write. One more thing. Professional licenses can be affected by assault convictions. Does your son-in-law have any certifications? Real estate development. Then an assault conviction could end his career. She closed her notepad. I'm not encouraging you to provoke him. I'm simply ensuring you understand the full scope of consequences if he chooses violence. I left her office with clarity. That afternoon, I stopped at Safeway. Steaks, red wine, potatoes, fresh salad greens. This needed to look like genuine celebration. Then Best Buy. A small digital voice recorder. I paid cash. At the new house, I positioned the recorder on the living room bookshelf, angled toward the dining table. Tested it. Clear audio pickup. Then I opened my phone's video app, started recording, and propped it on the kitchen counter facing the dining area. The angle captured everything. Alone in my bathroom, I practiced in the mirror. Neutral expression. Calm when provoked. Firm resolve when refusing. I rehearsed the key phrase, "This is my house. I decide who lives here." My voice stayed steady. Not aggressive. Controlled. That night, I texted Patricia. Everything ready for tomorrow evening. 7 o'clock. Her response came immediately, "Remember the plan. State your position calmly. Don't engage if he escalates. Phone accessible. Record everything. Call police immediately if needed." I typed back, "Understood." She replied once more, "You're doing the right thing. Setting boundaries isn't cruelty." I set my phone down and looked around my living room. My space. Purchased with my labor. Tomorrow, I would defend it. The doorbell rang at exactly 7. I took a final breath, checked my phone on the kitchen counter, recording app ready. My heart was steady. This was it. I opened the door. Mabel stood first, her smile uncertain. Behind her, Rodney wore an expensive shirt, his expression already judging. And behind them both, Frank and Linda, carrying wine, beaming with anticipation. My stomach tightened, but I stepped aside. "Come in. Welcome." Rodney didn't wait for invitation. He walked through my living room, touched the wall. "Paint job's mediocre. You overpaid for this place." Frank tried to smooth things. "Freeman, what a lovely entryway. Linda, look at this fireplace." "Thank you, Frank. Please, everyone sit. Dinner's ready." I served drinks. Positioned myself near the phone. Everything deliberate. Controlled. The recorder captured it all. At the dining table, I brought out steaks and roasted potatoes. Rodney cut his meat with aggressive sawing motions, refilled his own wine without asking. "You know, Freeman, I've been viewing actual investment properties lately. Real estate with potential." He gestured vaguely at my walls. "This is adequate for a retirement situation." Linda tried to change subjects. "Freeman, do you have plans for the garden? The soil here is wonderful for vegetables. I'm considering tomatoes. Maybe herbs." Rodney interrupted. "Waste of effort. Grocery stores cheaper and easier. Besides, at your age, you need low-maintenance everything." Frank's discomfort showed. "Rodney, your father-in-law can garden if he wants. I'm being practical. Someone has to be. Mabel picked at her food, silent. The tension built like pressure in a sealed container. I stood, raised my wine glass. Everyone looked up. I want to thank you all for coming. This house represents decades of work. I paused, met Frank's eyes directly. And I need to address something. The room went quiet. Frank, Linda. Rodney told you that you could live here. I need to be clear. I never made that offer. I'm sorry for any confusion, but you won't be moving in. The silence was absolute. Frank's face reddened. What? But Rodney said you offered the spare bedroom. Linda's voice was small, shocked. We've been packing for weeks. Rodney's chair scraped back. What are you doing, old man? We had an agreement. We had no agreement. My voice stayed level. This is my home. You ungrateful, Rodney stood, towering. After everything Mabel and I have done for you, everything you've done, I remained seated. I believe I'm the one who's given, Rodney. His face went crimson. My parents are moving in or you'll regret this. I promise you that. No, they're not. He stepped toward me. What did you say? I looked up at him. Calm. Direct. No. His fist came fast. It connected with my cheek. My head snapped sideways. Pain exploded bright and sharp. I fell, caught myself on one hand. The room erupted. Mabel screaming. Frank shouting. Linda gasping. I stood slowly, walked to the freezer, wrapped ice in a towel, pressed it to my face. Blood at the corner of my mouth tasted metallic. I picked up my phone. Rodney, what did you do? Mabel's voice, high and panicked. He pushed me to it. You all saw. Rodney was breathing hard. He manipulated this. Frank stood, horrified. Son, you just hit him. I typed carefully with one thumb. Sent the text to Patricia, phase 1 complete. Then I dialed 911. Watch me. The operator answered. I gave my address, stated the situation with mechanical precision. I was assaulted in my home. The attacker is still here. I need officers immediately. Rodney paced, agitated. Frank and Linda sat frozen. Mabel cried quietly. We waited in terrible silence. Then sirens growing louder. Blue and red lights flashed through my front window. I walked to the door and opened it before they could knock. 2 officers stood on my porch. The older one had kind eyes but a cop's assessing gaze. He took in my swollen face immediately. I'm Officer Martinez. We received a call about an assault. Yes. I was struck by my son-in-law, Rodney Murphy. He's still here. I gestured toward the dining room. I have video and audio recordings of the incident. Martinez's eyes registered that detail. Are you injured, sir? Split lip. Some swelling. Nothing requiring hospital care. But I'd like to press charges. Let's see what we have. I led them to the kitchen counter, picked up my phone, navigated to the video. This recorded the entire incident. Martinez watched. The footage was clear. Rodney standing, threatening, then punching. The impact. My fall. His partner watched over his shoulder. Martinez's jaw tightened. And you mentioned audio? I retrieved the voice recorder from the bookshelf, played it back. Rodney's threats. The ultimatum. The sound of fist meeting flesh. Martinez turned to Rodney, who stood in the dining room, expression shifting from anger to alarm. Sir, can you explain what happened here? He manipulated this whole thing. Deliberately provoked. Sir, I need you to remain quiet right now. Martinez's tone was professional. Firm. He turned to the witnesses. Did any of you see him strike this man? Frank, ashamed, nodded. Yes. I saw it. Linda whispered through tears. Yes. Even Mabel, crying, nodded reluctantly. I saw it. But my father provoked him by. Thank you. Physical assault is assault regardless of provocation. Martinez photographed my injury. Took measurements. Made notes. 20 minutes later, Martinez approached Rodney. Sir, turn around and place your hands behind your back. Rodney's face went pale. You're actually arresting me? You're under arrest for assault in the 4th degree. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. The handcuffs clicked. Rodney's parents watched their son led away. Linda sobbed. Frank stared at me with something between betrayal and understanding. After Rodney was placed in the patrol car, Mabel turned on me. Her face twisted with anger and grief. How could you do this? You called the police on my husband in front of his parents. I kept the ice pressed to my face. He hit me in my home because I wouldn't let him control my property. I did what I had to do. You could have just let his parents stay. Why are you being so stubborn? Stubborn? My voice was cold. I'm defending what's mine. Something I should have done years ago. You've destroyed my marriage. No. Rodney did that when he raised his fist. She left with Frank and Linda. The house fell silent. I documented everything while it was fresh. Photographed my injury in the bathroom mirror. Wrote down the timeline. Forwarded the video to Patricia. Still gathering evidence. Still thinking ahead. You know, there's something folks my age understand that younger people don't always get yet. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is the right thing. Sometimes love means letting someone face consequences instead of shielding them from reality. If this story is hitting home for you, if you've ever had to draw a line with family, I'd be grateful if you take a moment to like this video and subscribe to Grandpa's Front Porch. Your support means more than you know. And down in the comments, tell me what time it is where you are right now. I love knowing there are folks out there listening to an old teacher's story. The next morning, Patricia called. Rodney posted bail. $5,000. His parents paid it. Expected. He sent you 3 text messages overnight. Threatening. I'm filing for a restraining order immediately. Good. There's something else. Her voice carried satisfaction. I sent the police report to the Oregon Real Estate Agency. Rodney's license will be suspended pending the criminal case outcome. If he's convicted, he'll likely lose it permanently. That afternoon, I sat in Patricia's office. She slid a document across her desk. The agency responded quickly. I picked up the paper. Read the preliminary response. Investigation opened. License suspended immediately. Effective this morning. I nodded slowly. Good. A week passed. The swelling on my face faded to yellow bruising. I sat on my back patio with morning coffee when my phone buzzed. Patricia's text, hearing scheduled for tomorrow. Rodney's attorney pushing for plea deal. I typed back, will they accept? Her response came quickly, with your age and the evidence, he has no leverage. The next afternoon, Patricia called from the courthouse. The hearing concluded. Rodney pled guilty to assault in the 4th degree. Terms: 18 months probation, 60 hours community service, $1,500 in fines, $800 restitution to you. She paused. And the license agency finalized their decision today. Revoked for minimum 2 years. He's done in real estate. Another pause. Freeman, he can't work in his field for years. That's complete career destruction. Thank you for handling this. I hung up and looked at my tomato plants. The stems were already thickening, reaching for sunlight. Growth takes time. So does collapse. 2 weeks later, Patricia emailed me the agency's decision. I read it at my kitchen table. The language was formal, license revoked. Effective immediately. I forwarded the email to my folder labeled Legal, Rodney, and returned to repairing a loose cabinet hinge. Normal maintenance. Normal life. The restitution check arrived on a Thursday. $800. I deposited it without ceremony. That same afternoon, Patricia mentioned she'd heard Rodney had missed his first mortgage payment. Then the second. I did the math silently. Mabel's salary couldn't sustain their lifestyle alone. Their apartment mortgage was probably $2,500. Car payments. Insurance. Credit cards. Utilities. They'd been living on Rodney's commissions. Now, zero income from him. The dominoes were falling. 3 weeks after the arrest, my phone rang. Caller ID, Frank. I hesitated, then answered. Freeman, it's Frank. Frank. How are you? His laugh was bitter. How do you think? My son has no career, no income. Linda and I spent our savings bailing him out. $5,000 we can't afford. We're stuck in California paying rent we can barely manage now. I'm sorry you're in that position. Are you? His voice sharpened. You orchestrated this whole thing. Set him up. I defended my property and myself. Rodney chose to become violent. Those were his decisions. Legal, maybe. Silence stretched. But was it right? Was it right for him to promise my house without asking? To hit me when I refused? Frank had no answer. The call ended shortly after. That evening, I browsed real estate listings out of old habit. I found their apartment listed for sale. Price already dropped twice. The photos showed their furniture, their life. I recognized the couch I'd helped them buy. I closed the browser tab and returned to my book. Days blurred into weeks. Patricia sent updates via email. Court documents. Agency decisions. I filed each in my folder. Teacher's habit, document everything. Through neighborhood connections, I heard Mabel had taken overtime shifts. Weekend work. She was trying to keep them afloat alone while Rodney applied desperately for retail positions, delivery driving, anything. But his assault conviction showed on background checks. His real estate experience was useless without a license. I sat at my kitchen table one evening, laptop open to their apartment listing. The price had dropped again. They were bleeding money, desperate for any buyer. My phone rang. Caller ID, Mabel. I stared at it for 3 rings. I answered. Dad, I need to talk to you. Can I come over? I hesitated. The restraining order prohibited Rodney, not her. When? Tomorrow afternoon. I'll be alone. I promise. All right. 2 o'clock. The next day, I watched through my front window as her car pulled into my driveway. She emerged slowly, thinner than I remembered, dark circles under her eyes, clothes wrinkled. She walked to my door as if each step cost something. I opened before she knocked. Dad. Thank you for agreeing to see me. Come in. We can talk in the living room. She looked around nervously. Her eyes lingered on the spot where Rodney had stood. Where he'd thrown the punch. The house really is nice. I'm sorry I didn't say that before. Sit down, Mabel. What did you need to discuss? She took the armchair. I sat on the couch. The coffee table between us felt like a canyon. She opened her mouth twice before words came. Dad, please. You have to withdraw the complaint against Rodney. He can't work. We can't pay our mortgage. We're losing everything. Mabel, I can't withdraw it. The state is prosecuting the case. He pled guilty. Her voice rose. But you could tell them you want leniency. They'd listen to the victim. The victim was listened to. Your husband is on probation. That's lenient. But his license. They took his career away over one mistake. One mistake was hitting a 64-year-old man in his own home. She stood abruptly, agitated. Why are you doing this? You have your house. You won. Why keep punishing us? I remained seated. I'm not punishing anyone. I'm simply not rescuing Rodney from consequences. You could help. You have savings. You could lend us money to get through this. No. I couldn't and wouldn't. That's selfish. Family helps family. My calm cracked slightly. I stood too. Family helps family. I gave you $97,000 in 6 years. $15,000 for your wedding. $20,000 for your apartment down payment. Your education cost $48,000. What did I receive besides expectations for more? She stared, tears streaming. You're actually keeping a list of what you gave your daughter? I wasn't. But you keep asking for more. Rodney wanted my house next. Where does it end? With you alone in this house. That's where it ends. Her voice broke. I kept my voice level. Perhaps. But it's my house. That was always the point. She grabbed her purse, headed for the door. I can't believe you're my father. The door closed hard. I didn't follow. I walked to the window and watched her drive away, tires kicking up gravel. Hours later, Patricia called. Freeman, final update. Agency decision is official. License revoked. Minimum 2 years. I expected that. I also heard they're selling the apartment. Fast sale, big loss. Moving to rental housing. Understood. Thank you, Patricia. That evening, I checked the real estate site. Their listing, pending sale. Price $30,000 below original. They'd barely break even. I closed the laptop. Darkness fell over my garden. The house was quiet. I walked to my desk and pulled out the folder labeled Legal, Rodney. I added one more note, apartment sale forced. Moving to rental. The story wasn't over, but the arc was clear. 2 weeks passed without contact from Mabel. The silence felt inevitable. I was kneeling in my garden, pulling weeds from around the tomato plants, when my phone buzzed. Patricia's name on the screen. I wiped dirt from my hands. Freeman, I thought you should know. Mabel filed for divorce from Rodney yesterday. I sat on the porch steps, phone still at my ear. How do you know? Court records are public. I monitor them for clients. A pause. She cited irreconcilable differences. No contested assets. Should be quick. I see. How are you with this? I looked at my tomato plants. Stems thick with late summer growth. I expected it eventually. Just not this soon. Financial pressure destroys relationships faster than anything else. I thanked her and hung up. My daughter's marriage, the one I'd paid $15,000 to celebrate, had lasted 6 years. Took 6 weeks to completely destroy. I didn't celebrate. I pictured Mabel in some attorney's office, signing papers, her life disintegrating around her. I thought about Rodney receiving the documents. Another humiliation after losing his career, his home, his income. I felt no triumph. Just the quiet certainty that actions have consequences. Always. Patricia called again 3 days later. More information if you want it. Go ahead. Courthouse gossip says they'd been fighting constantly. Money arguments. Blame. Living in that cheap rental. Her salary barely covering basics. Him unable to find work with his record. She paused. Each saw the other as the reason they'd lost everything. The divorce was inevitable. I thanked her again. That evening, I heard Rodney had left Portland entirely. Moved back to his parents in California. But even that relationship was strained. Frank and Linda had lost $5,000 bailing him out. Now their son worked warehouse night shifts. Lived in their spare room. His real estate dreams were dead. Late August brought an unexpected visitor. I was reading when the doorbell rang. Evening shadows stretched across my lawn. Mabel stood on my porch. She looked different. Thinner, yes, but something else. The entitled anger from her last visit was gone. Her eyes were red but clear. Her clothes plain. No makeup. She looked humbler. Broken maybe, but also steady. "Dad, can we talk?" I studied her face. "Come sit on the porch." We sat where we could see the garden, but not inside where sharper memories lived. She was quiet for a long moment. "Dad, I need to apologize. Really apologize." I listened. Rodney manipulated me, but I let him. I chose greed over love. Chose material comfort over you. Her voice was steady despite tears. "I stood by while he hit you. I blamed you for defending yourself. I was blind. Why are you telling me this now?" "Because losing everything showed me what mattered. I lost my marriage, my home, my savings. But the worst thing? I almost lost you. Almost. I'm here asking if there's a chance. I don't want money. I don't want help. I just want forgiveness." I let silence settle. "Then I believe you. And I see you're sincere. I'll carry the shame of that night forever. I should have stopped him. Should have defended you. Mabel, I won't pretend it didn't hurt. But I also know manipulation is powerful. You were vulnerable to it. That's not an excuse. No. But it's context. I looked at my garden. I loved you before all this. I still do. But things will be different now. I understand. Whatever boundaries you need. We'll start with visits. Rebuild slowly. But I need you to understand, I will never be your safety net for bad choices again. I wouldn't ask you to be. I'm just asking for my father back." Evening fell as we sat together. Not embracing. Not making promises. Just sitting quietly for the first time in months. She stood to leave. "Can I come back next weekend?" I considered. "Yes. We'll have coffee." She nodded, walked to her car. I watched her taillights disappear down the street, then turned back to my house. The porch light cast warm glow on the doorway. I stepped inside, closed the door gently, and felt something I hadn't in months. The possibility of peace. September arrived with cooler mornings. I'd been in my house 3 months. I sat on my porch with coffee, a ritual I'd developed. My garden showed summer's work. Tomatoes heavy on vines. Basil flourishing. Evidence of care and time. My phone buzzed. Text from Mabel, "Coming by around 10 if that's still okay." I replied, "See you then." She visited most weekends now. Short visits. Coffee and conversation. Slowly rebuilding trust. She'd rented a small apartment across town. Taken a new job at a different marketing firm. Started seeing a therapist. She talked about her life openly now. Simpler. More intentional. More honest. I'd settled into retirement well. Morning coffee. Garden work. Reading. Occasional lunch with former colleagues. Normal life. On my terms. As I waited for Mabel's arrival, I thought back to that August evening. The night Rodney hit me. How far everything had come since then. His life destroyed. Mine vindicated. My daughter slowly returning. I didn't regret calling the police. Didn't regret any of what followed. Some people would call it revenge. I called it justice. Her car pulled up at 10 exactly. She was punctual now. Respectful of my time. She looked healthier. Eating better. Sleeping more. She brought pastries from a local bakery. We sat on the porch together, talking about her week. New clients. Therapy insights. Decorating her apartment. Normal conversation. Parent and adult child. Rebuilding through ordinary moments. Your garden looks incredible, she said. You've really made this place yours. It's been good having a project. Keeps me busy. You seem happy. Peaceful. I am. For the first time in a long while. She set down her coffee cup, looked at me seriously. Dad, I need to thank you. For not bailing Rodney out. For calling the police. For holding firm. She paused. You didn't just save yourself. You saved me too. You saved yourself by making the hard choice to leave him. But you showed me that boundaries matter. That I deserved respect. She paused. I'm grateful. I chose my next words carefully. Mabel, I need you to understand something. I love you. But I won't be manipulated again. By anyone. I know. I'm not asking for anything except a relationship with my father. This house is mine. My savings are mine. My life is mine. As they should be. I'm not here for money or help. I'm here because I missed you. I believed her. Then we can rebuild. Slowly. On honest terms. That's all I want. We picked tomatoes together. Simple activity. No tension. Just father and daughter doing normal things. When she left, I walked her to her car. We hugged briefly. Still somewhat formal, but real. She drove away. I waved. Returned to my porch. Picked up my book. She was part of my life again. But not the center. Balance restored. Evening came. I stood in my living room, looked at the spot where Rodney had stood. No trauma. Just memory. A moment that changed everything. I thought about Rodney. Still in California. Warehouse work. Attempting to appeal his license revocation. It would likely fail. I felt no satisfaction in his suffering. Just acknowledgement that he'd earned it. People might say I went too far. But I knew the truth. I didn't create the consequences. I simply stopped preventing them. Rodney chose violence. Everything else followed from that choice. The best revenge isn't cruelty. It's refusing to protect people from consequences they've earned.